And the television shows that Nate mentioned, Kung Fu, and Murder, She Wrote, and Airwolf, and another one. I did each of those shows.
All of them except one.
So that shows you how young I really am.
Yeah!
In a funny story that came to my mind when Dennis was talking about the pursuit car. We're into the 4th year, and we need something new. What can we come up with to do something new? I said, well, okay, let me think about it. And so I go down to George at night after work. He always had good beer. So we're sitting there talking, and he had a little model up on his office is filled with models. And so, look at this, he says, I know, it's right there. And one of us pulled it out, and the front end, the little front, opened up. I said, wow, George, that's it. And he says, really? Oh, great. So he went to the bathroom, and he came back. By the time he came back, I had it all figured out. So it went along, and he added a couple more scoops, things that popped out. If any of you have seen the pursuit car, you know to what I'm referring. So, great. So he says, well, what are we going to do? And I said, the first thing we're going to do, I said, you find an artist to do a drawing, and I'll find a model maker to do a model, because you never want to describe something to people who can visualize something. And there are, you will not find more people who are incapable of visualization than people in the television business. So I always knew whenever I was going to pitch something to have pictures, documentation, models, all of that. And so we did that, and I had it all done within a week. Took it upstairs. I said, hey, this is what we came up with. Oh, this is great. Sold. So within a week, I could run back to George's, and I say, hey, George, we're going to do this. So here, I'm sending you a car. Now, when we began the series, we only had 3 cars. Subsequent to that, there was a train wreck. No, not on the show, but there was an actual train wreck, and I believe it was 17 Pontiac Trans Ams were injured. And Pontiac gave them to us with the proviso that they could ever be sold, and so on and so on, although some slipped through that crack. So I told, thank God, because I was laying awake at night, doing all these stunts. We were damaging these Trans Am cars like there was no tomorrow, and we couldn't get any spare parts because they were brand new. They had just come out. Oh, you broke a wheel? Nope, sorry, no wheels available. Oh, well, the windshield cracked on the jump. Oh, there's no windshields available. Oh. So I had our crew I paid studio labor to take all the cars apart, and we cataloged all the parts, and now we had spare parts, and I had extra cars. And fortunately, I had left some intact, so I shipped one of the better ones to George to do the exterior of the pursuit car, and shipped another one over to him that wasn't quite as good to do the exterior of something I asked him to build, which is get a trailer, George, and put the body on the trailer and put it on backwards. So we tow it from the back end, have the front end in front, and I knew we were going to do hydraulics, and I knew Dennis was on board to do this, and we had a wealth of hydraulics. You can't imagine all the cans and hoses and all of this thing this man came up with to make all of those pieces come out of the car. And all of those pieces filled up the entire interior of the car. And we controlled it from the back of what is called an insert car, a camera car that we would hook up to the trailer. But we mounted the body backwards on the trailer, and I said, George, and I said, Dennis, have the nose start outside and pop in. And so when we towed it, we drag it backwards, and the ground would go in one direction, the nose would pop in, and when we got the film home, we just reversed the film, and it looked as if the nose was actually popping out and you were seeing it in real. And that's how we did that. And what? You're dying because I'm going to talk forever. It's amazing I'm still married. But Nate, the other thing that you don't know is, once we got these extra cars, and I wound up with some extra cars, I called Jess Ferry up in transportation, who was vice president of transportation at that time. And I got along real well with Jess, and he helped me out a lot. And I said, hey Jess, you know what? I've got this extra Knight Rider car. It's all decked out. And I'm gonna offer this to you if I can get it back, if we really need it in a pinch. And I said, let me suggest this to you. You find, I know exactly where up there, there's a room up on the tour to put the car, and put the, yeah, you only have your cell right now, Nate. You know, we'll put a little box behind it somewhere to hide the guy talking, and when little kids come up and the lights flashing, they will just love it. And he goes, wow, that's a great idea. And that's exactly what we did. And that car remained up there until well after Knight Rider was canceled. I'm sorry to take all the time. I'm not really.
It's a great story. Thank you very much for sharing that. I just wanted to make sure we're almost out of time, and I just want to make sure we talk to James.
I wanted to add, just for the history at Universal, we had the kid out there on a lake. They had to build a water around it because it just was mobbed. So they had to have these barriers on it. It was sort of hanging into a lake. One of the things I like to do is when a really pretty girl got in it, because so many people were waiting in line over there, the little red light would start getting really fast. And every now and then, somebody in line would be like, hey, kid likes the pretty girls. In the back lot, while they were taping, these guys were literally, I know you think they had great care and love for these things, but they ruined a couple. And the jump car, I would go around in the back lot, just because I was a nut, and I would find these cars, and it would be rain. Security grabbed me one time, so I was sitting in one of the abandoned cars, because the windows were down, and I was trying to make the windows go up because it was raining on the car. And they're like, what are you doing? And it was the jump car, with the whole cage inside of it, that was just a little rocket car. And I was like, these are getting ruined. But you know, the transportation guys are like, just park them over by the fence, doesn't matter what they are. But I wanted to point out the Back to the Future car. I know a lot of you are like, why is that here? Where's Paul? Paul, are you around here? Wave if you're somewhere, Paul. Oh, there he is. Paul's part of a little thing I started, StarCarCentral.com, and all the guys that have Knight Rider cars, go there and register your cars on my world map, because I am getting contacted all the time now for Knight Rider cars, but they're always like, hey, can you bring it to Minnesota? The answer would be no. But if you live in Minnesota, I will send you an email, and you can make somebody else's dreams come true by being able to see a Knight Rider car in person. So StarCarCentral.com, register it, and I'll send anybody from your state to you.
Thank you. Quickly, James, do you want to talk about